My name's Jake, welcome to Mangrove Music. This is the Ratajczyk Cream Reverb, which is the best amp you've never heard. And why have you never heard of it? Because, well, I hadn't heard of them until only a few years ago when I was hunting for an Australian-made amp head because I just wanted to see if there was any around. All I was aware of was, your big brands like your Marshall, your Voxes, your Oranges, your Black Stars was getting around a lot around then, so I decided to have a look to see if anyone around here was making stuff. And I found someone, and that someone is Ratajczyk Amps, also known as BJ Amplifiers. They are a amp repairing and service business over in Red Bank in Queensland. Really awesome blokes, and they also happen to have their own brand of amplifier. So I'm going to be showing you why this is the best amp that you've never heard. Well, you'll have heard it after I'm done with it. So what is this amp? This is a 30 watt tube amp, single channel, basic EQ, master volume. It has inbuilt reverb and inbuilt tremolo, which are both tube driven as well. It's an awesome little box of rock, in my opinion. Takes pedals really well, and it's super simple to dial in. This amp also is available as a combo, and when you buy one, you get to pick the color of the Tolex and the grill and the piping. I chose purple because I love purple, and I also had the black and the white added because it matches the cab that I have in real life. Now you're listening to it through a emulation of a cab currently because my neighbors appreciate not being blown away by a 30 watt tube head driving a 2x12 cabinet on a weeknight with school tomorrow. So in terms of the actual controls that you have, like I said, very simple. You've got a volume and a master volume, 3-band EQ, and that's basically it. You also have the level of intensity for the reverb, and then you have the level of intensity and speed for the tremolo. The little secret bonus feature is the volume knob has a push-pull, which allows for a greater amount of treble in the circuit so that you can hear more of that if you have something particularly dark that you're putting into the amp. It also has a high and a low input depending on your instrument's pickups. So what's the other parts of the rig today? Well, we've got a Les Paul Standard. It's the best guitar I currently own, but I'll be throwing a single coil on it as well to show you how that sounds. I also have some pedals here to run through it. It takes pedals like a champ, and I'll be dialing in a few different sounds for it. So okay, so I've dialed in a bit of a clean sound, and you do that on this amp by driving the main volume down and you pull the master volume up. That makes the power amp, loud, and the preamp doesn't get overdriven. Being a 30 watt tube head, it doesn't have the most headroom in the world, but there's a fair amount. Yeah, it sounds really nice, clean, so this is where you could throw all your drives at it. Just has that real classic tube amp, nice clean analogness, I suppose. Very cool. Throwing a bit of a boost on it, I've got a Tumnus at my feet from Wampler. So that gives you that real bluesy kind of, So, it has all that sort of jazz to it. It also takes fuzzes really well at this setting as well. Obviously, you're letting the fuzz do the talking. Big fan of that. Alright, so I've sort of dialed in a bit of a tube doing the talking, sort of overdriven sound here. know, it has that real nice Fendery kind of warmth to it, but get the push-pull, push the mids a bit, and you've got a Marshall. Kind of like a Plexi, you know. Especially if you throw that tumnus back on it. Now it's not exactly a Marshall, but it's not exactly a Fender either, which is why I'm a big fan of it. It kind of just has its own voicing while giving you the same vibes as those older amps. In terms of price of this amp, it is a little bit on the premium end, but nowadays everything's expensive, and if you're going to spend your money on a high-end amplifier, why not support an independently owned, locally owned business right here on domestic soil? Not that there's anything wrong with the overseas amps, they're great, and I would love to own a whole bunch of them one day, but I just think it's really cool that we have people kicking ass here with gear, and have been for a long time, and I think they deserve a lot more recognition than they currently get, so I'm hoping this gives them a bit of a kick. What kind of inspired me to make this video is that there's not really many examples of these on the internet of how they sound and whatnot, so I thought that I would try and capture it as best as I can to give you guys a look at it, so that if you want to buy one, you know what you're in for. I will say though, even I bought it blind, having never heard it before, and I've never looked back, because I just think this is one of the coolest sounding things on the planet. There's so much more stuff to do with it. You'll be seeing a lot of it on this channel. It's just a really great amp. And Ratajczyk also makes another model called the Extreme Reverb. It's a higher wattage, a bit more gain and grit to it. I think those are 6L6s in the power amp on that one. I've not tried that one yet. I would like to one day, if I ever have the spare coin to go buy one or try one, or if they let me borrow one to put it out here for you folks to listen to, that would be great. So like I mentioned before, that this has inbuilt reverb on it. So reverb off, nice and dry. Reverb halfway. Lovely. And reverb maxed out. It's just all settings sound good on this. Very much a page out of Fender's book, I think, where they just made the reverb sound awesome and decided that every setting was a good setting. You can pretend you're sound checking in a big room with that. Yeah, very nice. The tremolo that's built into it is also very nice. I tend to, if I do use it, I tend to have it as more of a very subtle effect, just to add a bit of movement to the sound, which is currently the setting I have it on, and I have the reverb off just so you can hear the tremolo a bit more. So that's kind of, you know, it's not really doing the whoop, 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 whoop thing that, you know, a lot of tremolos do, but it can do that. Yep, that's a tremolo. And, you know, dialing it out. Pair that with the reverb maxed out. You can dial those in however you want. There's not really a bad setting, like I said. So let's grab another guitar with single coils and a lower tuning to show you how that kind of sounds with it, because it takes different guitar styles very well. Here we have my Telecaster that is in C standard. This is an artist Telecaster. They are awesome guitars for the money. I'll do a video on these at some point as well. And it sounds like this. Just real nice. There's nothing like a detuned Telecaster, and it has a bit lower of an output, being single coils. That also means you can throw more gain at it and it sounds sick. that's a ton of fun to be had there. Overall, I could spend hours sitting here and telling you all about all the different tiny variations and tones you can get out of this thing. So it goes without saying that I'm a fan of this amp. I believe that it's sort of like a modernized sound of an older style tube amp. Obviously the controls are very simple, and I like that because if I have too many options, I sit there for hours tweaking things and I don't actually get anything done. So I like that it just sounds good no matter where you put it, because I'm a very set and forget kind of guy, and it works great. Another bonus feature, it does come with a foot switch as well, with a nice long cable so you can turn the reverb and the tremolo off as you need it. If I was to make any kind of improvement to the amp, I would love personally an effects loop in it. That's just because effects loops are sort of like a modern standard now, and I think that this would benefit from being able to take preamp pedals and things like that as well. And I would also love a higher wattage model, but that's mainly for the Doom side of my playing, where we like really high wattage heads for all the headroom and stuff like that. All in all, this amp's a 10 out of 10 in my opinion. Well worth the money. You can go get one right now. I will link their website that gives you all the contact options. I think it's a worthy investment. If you're looking for a high-end tube amp that's still cheaper to buy than a lot of the high-end tube amps that are on offer at the stores currently, then the Cream Reverb is the one I would wholeheartedly recommend. If you know of any other gear that you'd like to see on this channel be tried out, please do let me know down in the comments as well, and I'll see if I can eventually get my hands on it to do a nice old video on it. Anyways, if you liked the video today, please like, subscribe, comment. This is my first ever one, so apologies if it's not up to modern standards. I'm learning as I go. But thank you for checking out the channel. Thank you for taking the time to listen to me waffle on and play some guitar for you. And I will see you in the next one.